Hi, this is your host Jolly for a brand new show called Aaj Ka Duniya. In this, I will discuss, chat, answer all your queries, and help you in resolving all your lifestyle and relationship issues. Before that, we will also discuss a whole lot of things on how do we build up our lives, how do we create values in the lives of people whom we touch, and how do we grow as great individuals, not as somebody, a millionaire or billionaire, a great individual, someone who is loved by everyone around us. I think end of the day when we grow old, that is what I found when I grew old, is that we cherish all the good people that has touched our lives and how to ensure that we return back those positive moments from our lives and transfer those positive vibes from our lives to their lives. That is the key of this talk show. That is what I will attempt to do. In the process, every Wednesday, we will bring you various discussions, various areas where I will talk about how to do things, how to improve things, and how to take care of ourselves and the people all around us. Our first topic that I have chosen for our launch video on 2nd December 2020 will be hope. Now we all hope for the good, but what it does mean? See, what I saw in my personal life is that hope evolved as I crossed various ages of my life. And this hope turned into reality because I focused on building certain core values around myself. So that is the key. The key of having a great hope. I think somebody said that if you can tell yourself good morning and thank your God that you are alive today, that's what Buddhism talks about. And you look forward to the day today. You have hope, not only in yourself, but hope in all the people around you. Now, it's easier said than done. Our life is full of negative vibes. We get negative people touching us, we get negative people talking to us, and we get all sorts of negativity flowing around us. How do we overcome them? I think that is the biggest challenge that we have. And believe me, if you try to find out when you were blissful the last time, you will take several moments to recall that. Why? Because we are lost in the negativity of our lives. We are lost in the negative people around us. We are lost in the negative happening around us. We have forgotten to enjoy. When we talk about hope, we wish to bring back those feelings of positivity, those feelings of happiness, and those feelings of greatness within our lives that we must think about. A hopeful person, as far as I am concerned, is somebody who has an open mind, who is willing to accept changes, and willing to move forward in life. A person who is stuck in the present and wants to stay at that level only because he doesn't want to take any risk. Moving forward would be riskier for him, or for that matter, anybody. So if somebody is out there who doesn't want to move forward and is happy, contented with whatever I would say he has achieved so far in life, that person is hopeless because he is stagnant. And when something bad will hit him, he will not have anywhere to go. So hope has a very positive impact. It gives us a very uh, great motivation to move forward in life, and that is why we have hope. So in the discussion today, what I will try to do is I will try to analyze what type of hopes we all have on various stages of life, not the Shakespearean stages, but on the various stages that we have been growing up. I think the biggest outcome of this hope would be doing good to others, along, of course, with ourselves. We need to earn money, we need to be happy, we need to uh, do so many things, but we must do them with a expectation of a positive outcome. A negative outcome does not give you hope in any ways. I'm sure you must have heard about people talking about karma. Karma is not a magic show. Karma is not about a one day affair, a moment of glory where you are crowned the king of this world. No, that's not karma. Karma is like you're saving in a piggy bank. Every day you drop in some loose change that you have in a piggy bank, and then you don't know in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, that piggy bank has blown into a huge asset for you. That's karma. A good karma is about doing good in small ways that help people in positive ways to become a better person. Have you helped today? Do you ask yourself? You need to ask yourself, because then only you will understand when is the last time you have helped anybody. And there are so many people around here who's hopeful for something good happening to them, who's hopeful of seeing a change in their fortunes. The richest in this world are hopeful. The poorest in this world are hopeful. Hope is a common denominator in which we all survive. Without hope, can you imagine what will happen to a person? He will just stay there. He will never move in life. So let's look at a child when it is crying and doesn't know what to do. He is growing up. He doesn't know how to stand. He doesn't know how to walk. He doesn't know how to talk. He doesn't know how to have his food. What's his hope? His hope is all his loved ones will hold him, will take care of him, will take him in his lap. And they grow with that hope. They get so used to that cuddle that without that cuddle they cannot sleep. That's the hope. That's what a mother gives. And we grow up with that cuddle, I think till the age of 11, 12 years old. Every child aspires to be so close to their parents and so lovable by their parents that they can't leave them. Why? Of course they are naughty, of course they are don't listen to you and they do everything against your wishes. But at the core of their heart, my 10-year-old son tells me, you are Papa na. You are my Papa. So I love you. And his hope is that I will not ever diss them in their life. It's not their expectation, it is their hope. Why? They have gone through various ups and downs in life at a young age. Kids in most families are witness to some very severe fights. All the parents might not get separated, but they are they are exposed to serious serious abuse of language, of physical assault, or so many things in between. And you know what? What the parents do? Instead of teaching good things to the kids, to be honest, to be right, and instead of controlling themselves, they tell the child not to go out and tell others what they have seen. So they are developing a basic core mismatch in their kids. That's what the problem is. That's why the problems that we see in the teenagers today are because of those wrong values that they have been asked to follow. They know, the kids know that these are wrong. They are asking, the parents are asking them to tell lies, whereas the parents should not have done that. If they had a disharmony, they should have done it within closed doors in their room, out of the views or out of the hearing of the children. They couldn't care less about the children. That is why the problems that the kids face. Now, point is that we are not very careful in our lives. We expose the kids knowingly, unknowingly to various negative tones of talking, of behaving, or physical assault, and things like that, and we expect the child to behave differently. He has not even learned how to live this world. How can they behave differently? They cannot. And that brings the dissonance in the child's mind. Why do we send the kids to school? I think more than the education, more than the hand holding that they give, I think it is the hope that it arises, that it helps to make aware in the children that they are a good citizen of this world, that they are loved by people, and even if they are not loved by people for whatever reason, there are some sad souls. They develop friends not only amongst themselves, the schoolmates, but also amongst the teachers. They're so nice, cute babies, class 1, nursery, KG, 1, 2. They're just growing up. And if they see disharmony in their home, it is the school that gives them that hope. It is their friends that gives them the hope. I've seen my kids enjoying their friend's house much more than they enjoyed in our house. I've seen my kids enjoy themselves much more with their friends than even when they lived with their mother. Why? It is the hope that they will get exposed to more positive vibes. Now, as parents, if we are not careful, we will create problems for everybody. So, my request to all those parents who are hearing me out is, if you have a disharmony, if you have challenges in relationships with whosoever, your sons, daughters, grown up, wife, seniors, of course this is life and we all have our differences. There's nothing wrong in those differences. The problem arises, how do you handle those differences? My suggestion is that if you are in any manner unable to control your language, your actions, please go into a room, shut yourself in, or take the person out, go out, have a walk, shout, chat, fight, whatever you want to do. But please don't do it in front of your kids. Those are negative vibes that they can very well avoid. So what is going to happen is that you don't need to tell the kids, you don't say this to anybody else. So you're not teaching them anything wrong. They're not learning anything wrong. They're not seeing the disharmony that you are going through in your personal life with whatever be that relationship, and it does not make them destabilized in the house. You continue to imbibe in them positive values. We all have positive values. I don't think anybody, even the most drunkard of the person, will have some positive values. As a father, as a mother, we will all have positive values, and those positive values our kids are going to see. If they don't see it in us, there's something wrong with us, the way we are behaving in the house. That is how they go and find solace in the school and with the friends. And that is the hope. It is not, it is certainly not an escape mechanism. Escape mechanism is loosely used to find an excuse as to why kids are behaving differently. Kids love positive vibes. They love to be hopeful. And if they find their school teacher far better than their parents in how they are approachable and how they behave and talk, of course they will be more friendly with them. And if they find their friends or their friends' home to be more warm, and it gives them hope of being loved over there. And there's nothing wrong in being loved by somebody else. So that's hope I'm talking about. And if we are careful, I don't think they will have the need to be loved outside, but at least they will not get wrong signals, which creates a disharmony in the child's mind. And as he grows from that into a teenager, he has to handle a whole lot of more problems. So if he has had a difficult childhood, he is going to turn into a complete mess when he is a teenager. His physical changes, his hormonal changes, his mental changes. He will get attracted to the opposite sex. His physiology will change. His or her physiology will change. Their hormones will be barking out of their bones. And of course, I went through that. Everybody goes through those ages, and those are difficult years. Believe me, if you are not able to get into the right hands at those times, you are going to go completely haywire. The reason why we see underage motherhood or sexual relationships with people, with boys and girls who are underage, is primarily because they do not understand the opposite sex. It is not their sexuality. As parents, we have somewhere not been able to give them positive vibes about the opposite sex. Rape, murder, bullying, misbehaving with the opposite sex are all part of that dilemma a child has grown up with in his life. A child which has grown up with a more solid, sound childhood will accept the opposite sex in a far better manner because his hopes are not dreadful. He is not afraid of the opposite sex. He has not seen anything wrong happening to the opposite sexes in his household. If he has seen positive respect of other sexes in his life, if he has seen his mother and father, brother and sister behave themselves properly, talk nicely with each other, and present themselves nicely, he would have a massive hope on how he will interact with his other sex or other contemporaries of his life. Now, if the child has had a unfortunately eventful background, eventful childhood, then in addition to his age-related problems, he will have to carry forward those problems which he has seen in the home. Now, what's his hope? That is why we see uh, unrelated sexual attitudes, adventurism in success, because that's a complete new idea to them. They don't know what it is, they don't know how to handle it, and then they have not asked or been counseled by the right set of people to guide them as to how they need to take care of themselves. So, what you get to see is wrong behavior, and what you get to see is unfortunate situations in most of the time. So, teenagers are not rebels by definition, they are not getting a, what I would say, a meeting ground of his hope and what he is actually facing in life. His hope is to grow up into a nice person, a nice individual. He needs to get into a good career. At the age of 18 or 19, he would be entering another new phase of life. He would be getting into his career, which will define his future, which will define his successes. That's a huge hope. Not only in himself, his hope is on the whole world and how things should fall in place. And he needs to have a very, very strong support system. So his hope is that his families will support him. His hope is that his social circle will support him in achieving his career goals. And his hope is that he will be able to face individual situations with power of knowledge. Have you given that knowledge to that guy, a teenager? How he needs to behave with the opposite sex, how he needs to carry himself, how he needs to talk, how he needs to do things, how he needs to not take advantage. Here comes, this is the right time to talk to him and teach him about compassion, about empathy, about love. Love what he has seen are in those within brackets are during his childhood of a mother. As a teenager, he is exposed to real warm love. If he is a person with a great hope, a very optimistic person, he will expect others to behave positively towards him. His hope is to meet nice people. As parents, we must guide him, handhold him, and tell him, coach him, bring him face to face with some of the realities that he is going to face in life. Now that's the key. Of course, to a successful parenting, there lies the hope of a teenager. A teenager hopes that his parents will be able to guide him and handhold him in those keenly difficult years where he is metamorphosing into an individual. In the 5 years' time, he will become an individual who will have his own characteristics. And his hope is that his parents, his social friends, his network, his relatives will mold him in a manner which will make him successful for life. And this is the time, because of the hope, we all develop several value systems of our own, distinctly own. What I mean to say is that honesty has a very big yardstick. Similarly, dishonesty has an equally big yardstick. So goes with truth and untruth. This is the time to arm him, to define for himself to what extent he will consider to be honest, real honesty. And those teenage years, he needs to be trained in practicing those honesty. We are in COVID time, so let me tell you, as scientists, what we all do is We make certain theses. We presume, okay, these are the following factors which are causing COVID-19 disease, and then we identify certain chemical molecules, and we test them against those hypotheses, and if a molecule meets 90% of those hypotheses and we grow it in the laboratory, we say that vaccine is successful. So there is certain hypothesis we build up before we come to a conclusion and before we start testing those hypotheses. So clinical trials 1, clinical trials 2 and clinical trial 3 proves those hypotheses that this molecule can create that disease. Life is also something like this. Teenage years are the most hopeful years because he is building his hypothesis of life. From the age of 20 years to the age of 80 years, how his life will turn out to be, he is building those hypotheses. Now, are you a part of the problem as parents, or are you a part of his solution? Are you enabling him to develop those hypotheses in a positive manner, or are you not just bothered as to what he does or how he does it? Unfortunately, I lost my father at a young age, but I had some very good friends and my teachers were very good, and they helped me in devising a hypothesis about how to lead life. That helped me to define my honesty. Of course, I wavered. I cannot tell a lie straight with a very straight face, and I often get caught. Okay, but that's why I never lie. It's so easy. I've learned it the hard way, and it didn't help me in any manner. But I certainly have a limit of what is honesty and how much I should practice it, and how much I should ensure that I remain protected. Now, there are no rule books that you follow. Your father would have had a different level, your mother would have had different, your grandfather would have lived by different handbooks. And at each age we need to test those hypotheses. But if those hypotheses has not been built, then what are you going to test upon? Hope is that hypothesis. Hope is that hypothesis on which you build your life, and a life which is well built gives you at several stages, as I will tell you now, to test those hypotheses and evolve into better human at each stages of life. So one is evolve and get your hypothesis in place, get your compassion, empathy. Third is start loving people. Don't start loving events. At a young age, you must love people. Remove outcome of events from people. We all go through bad phases of life, we all go through good phases of life. We do have so many things in life in between. As a teenager, you must learn to believe and love the people irrespective of the outcome. As we will go further in my discussion tonight, we'll see how that helps us. Upfront, I can tell you, it helps us by becoming unprejudiced. That means We don't judge a person. An unprejudiced person is a successful person because he takes his personal successes and failures in the same manner. A prejudicial person lives the life of what others think. Now that's extreme difficult job. You cannot be a Mother Teresa all your life unless internally you have those faculties and mental makeup. Or you cannot be a Richard Nixon, or you cannot be an American president all your life. You cannot fake it actually. You have to be a natural leader. So, a prejudiced person cannot act it out. He cannot live the life as dictated by others. If he has developed the culture of living his life in his own terms, in his own way, which has to be a positive way, of course, then of course he will be a successful person. So in school we learn with friends, we learn to love our teachers, and of course sports. I think that is the best breeding ground of being hopeful. The best breeding ground of a school student is in sports. It talks about, it teaches about camaraderie, team participation, and the concept of winning and losing. The sports arena is the biggest teacher in school days. It is that hope to win and stand on the podium. Oh, I have always been thrilled by it. I have always come first in class and I always stood in that podium to receive my certificate. Oh, there's no high as you get high standing on a podium. Even a third podium is okay. I think my friends who came second and third were equally happy. I was happy about them. I have worthy competition. That gives me a lot of hope that yes, I am doing what is right. I am standing on the podium. Now, sports exposes you to all the vagaries that you will meet in life, the ups and downs, the goals, the dribbles, the false moves. Oh, the sports arena teaches you everything. I am an ardent TT player, and I used to be taken around by my opponents because of their false moves, and I used to get befooled by them. But I was a happy loser. While I won in my class exams, I lost in those TT matches. But those matches taught me what losing is all about. It taught me how to be friends with my enemy and how to see their positive aspects of life. Now that's hope. The hope is that I will evolve myself into a perfect father, a perfect brother, a perfect son, a perfect so and so. There cannot be a life without hope. So, three things about school: in the school age, your class teacher, your friends, and the playing arena. And then you're into your 20s. Sorry, teens. Teens will be your hypothesis ground, your ground where you create your hypothesis of what you want to become in life. You create those visuals in your mind. That's hope. What you really want to become in life. My son, who's 16 now, or will be 16 on Christmas Eve, he hopes to become a Nintendo type game maker. Wow, that's a huge hope. And I promised to buy him a gaming PC on which he can develop games. And he's going to write his class 10 board exams this year and his mom is mad. But why am I giving it to him? It builds hope in himself that look, my father is with me in my quest, of becoming a gamer, of creating games. It has nothing to do with his studies. The faculties that he uses in studies will be very different from the faculties that he uses for creating a game. In fact, they would help each other to grow, because while creating a game he will relax, and while studying with a relaxed mind he will absorb more than what he would have normally otherwise done. His mind will be not distracted by loose happenings around him. His mind will be focused on developing a game, and his mind will be focused on preparing for the exam. And I am very convinced of that. Even if he doesn't do well, whatever he does, he will do it on his own, and I will be very proud of him. Because the reason I have started building hope in himself, I have given him that hypothesis on which he can test himself as to what he will do when he grows up in life. What he learns to know is compassion, coping up with changes, and building his aspirations. The hope of doing good in life, the hope of driving around in the city in a Lamborghini, there's nothing wrong in that. Of walking into the biggest mansion of his life as his home. We all live with those hopes. There's nothing wrong in that. Let him build it. Let him test it out. Let him also see the failures of life. Let him see the challenges of his life. Now once he does that, he moves into the next stage of life, which is as a young adult. That means he is settled in his career. So you guys who are listening to me, who are in your young adults, 23 onwards, 23 to 30, 33, 34, I think you will be considered as young adults. You wouldn't have married, or some would have been very early married, but mostly without a child. So enjoying yourself, enjoying your life. And now comes the phase of testing. You start testing your hypothesis. You also start failing in life. As a teenager, you would have wasted a lot of your time. I have wasted 2 years of my life as a teenager doing various things. It helped me to learn, but I wasted 2 years. Some were part because my exam got postponed, and some was because of my own change of career, which I wanted to do something different. My parents wanted me to follow something different, and I moved on with my decision, and nothing wrong has happened in that. But you tend to flunk some years, you tend to lose some years. You fail in something, and you need to learn from it. So as young adults, while you are enjoying, you have already started testing those hypotheses of your teenage years. Why would you test it? It's the hope that are you in the right direction, and the hope that you will succeed in your life. The hope of that mansion that you have seen, the hope of that car that you have dreamt about, the hope of your children that you want to live with, the hope of a family that you want to spend the rest of your life with. How will you do that? You need to test those hypotheses of life as to how you want to grow up in life. Now, there are two things I would say here. One is, one needs to learn how to embrace failures and underline the winning mantras. You lose some, you win some. Take learnings from both. Build up your hope again based on these learnings. So that's the key. While you are enjoying with a wife or your girlfriend and you are pubbing and you are clubbing and doing all sorts of stuff, enjoying your life, I think this is the right time when you should build on that hope that yes, you are going to be a winner in life because because as a optimist you have not stopped at one place. You have moved forward. You have not allowed your past to hold you back. You have an open mind to absorb all the new things that is coming your way, good or bad. Discard the bad things. 95% of your encounters will be bad. Only 5% will be good. Hang on to those 5%, man. Your life will be successful with those 5% only. Ignore the rest 95%. These people were never meant to be good in your life. They will never bring any good in your life. Don't follow them. They are a mirage, a disillusionment. They will only bring you frustration. Let them go. Be happy in your life. Hang on to your hope. And hang on to the people who loves you. By now you know who all loves you, I'm sure. In your mid-20s as young adults or late 20s, you will know which are the people who love you and which are the people who's not worth hanging on to. And then you are maturing into a middle-aged guy. When you hit the 30s, oh my god, you are on the way to getting a big bad belly and a thick fat ass. So please be careful. That's the age when a lot of people say the broad mind and the narrow waist exchange places, meaning you become a narrow minded and okay, what you tend to do is you tend to think that let me hang on to whatever I have achieved so far and let me do the things what I have done so far, let me be happy with that. My god, that's almost suicidal, huh? The day you say that, you're dead. Because the day you think like that, you will stop growing. Man, you're losing out hope. Hope is not a age prescription. Hope is your beacon of life. It is that life which glows all around you. That is hope. How can you be contented with whatever you have achieved till your 30s and you're going to live the next 50 years on what you have achieved till the age of at the age of 30 or 40? No, it's not like that, my dear. You can't stop growing. So what do? You hope not only now for yourself, but bring in hopeful people around you. You see, till mid-20s or early 30s, we are all lone rangers. We fight for our existence, we have our own brilliance by which we grow. We grow by the sheer hard work, by the hope and our aspirations. Our aspirations are fired by those hope that we have built, by our performance. And what we think that is this the right way that we should be going? And then you decide that, oh, you have reached the peak and that's all. No, it's not, because you'll be dead by the time you reach your 50s. So you build on your present hope and you start building hopefuls around you. That means you are in a group of hopeful people, people who are optimistic, people who are positive, and people who are hopeful of doing great like what you have done. So, what you need to do is build on the hope by creating hopeful people who can take up your place. That means make you redundant. So, people below you, if they acquire your skills and make you redundant, and if you are the leader and teaching them how to make yourself redundant, then I'm sure they're going to push you up only. You will never be thrown out, because as a leader you are building a team of good people. That is the time to do namaskar. You know the meaning of namaskar? Namaskar means I respect the greatness in you. That means you are building up your peer group with a namaskar, respecting their strength and helping them to make you more stronger in your career. And so, by enabling people, by fueling their hope, you are fueling your own hope of growth. So, don't fear that somebody will take your job or your position or your aspirations. Nobody can take anything from you. It is you and you who will do everything for yourself. And if you have done the right success mantra, like I said, build hopefuls, build optimistic team, build a team who can replace you, become redundant in life as far as that role is concerned, not as far as leadership is concerned. I'm not asking you to become a redundant leader, I'm asking you to be a redundant person of that role. So when somebody takes up that role, you are going to be pushed up because you have built those people, and the organization, the family, or whoever is your peer group will respect you for your contribution, and they will give you more responsibilities so that you keep on growing and bring up those hopeful people around you. So whether it is your family, your social circle, your group, your peer group, your seniors, they will closely associate themselves with you because you are a beacon of hope. That's the importance of being hopeful. And once you have done that, you get into a larger role. You become a father to so many people. Becoming a father is not a bad thing unless you are fathering out of marriage. If you are fathering your leaders in the corporate world, and if you are fathering your leaders who can take over key responsibilities in your team, everybody will respect you, and they will, what I'll say, they will give you a lot of things to cheer. So don't be afraid of people taking away your position in life. No. By nurturing other people, by building up hopefuls, you will only save your own fear of getting or losing your job. You will be more positive. You will be actually breaking more boundaries. With an open mind, an open team which are hopeful, which are go-getters, which are positive, in the family, in the social circle, they are the people who will really ensure that you become great. And believe me, you are still testing those teenage hypotheses. Your compassion which you learnt in your school days and your teenage days all builds up your karma. Your testing of hypothesis of your karma gets result in your getting the right responsibilities, the right respect, and it all comes from being hopeful of being right, of the right value, of the right mindset, of the right ways of life, and of honesty and truthfulness. As mature people, as mature individuals who have hit their 40s and 50s and early mid 50s, I think then it is mostly about organizing lives. Is when you buy your properties and your cars and you go out on long holidays, but still you are not out of your hope because now you really understand the value of those hopes which you have developed over the last 50 years of your life, how you have built up on your hope. And it is this time that you organize people around the hope of the new generation. So now is the time when you visit schools to share those hopes. When I was in school, when I think 12-year old, 13-year old, 15-year old, I think we used to have a lot of professionals come to our school and talk about what and how they choose their profession. What were they doing? They were sharing hopes with us. They were sharing the way they chose their career and how they evolved into those careers and how they contributed. So that's the time when you organize people, when you organize resources, build and build on their hopes. Young preschool guys, young teenagers who look at you for building those hopes. Hope is a very, very strong word today, one too. Hope is something that you will continue to try to achieve in life. And that is very important when, as a senior, you start testing those spiritualities. Yeah, I'm talking about spirituality. This is the time when you test those final hypotheses of your teenage years, of your early adulthood, of the right and wrong. This is the time when you need to evaluate your karma, your spirituality, and your inner self, your conscience, how you have built it up, how you have ensured how they treated you in life. That is how we grow old. And that is how, if we have built our lives right from those days, school playing field of a hope of standing on the podium to the age of 60, when we try to build hopes of those people who are trying to stand on the podiums even today, are the real hopefuls. That means you are leading an extraordinary life, an imaginary life, imaginative life, not imaginary, a life which you have imagined and hoped for very early years, and now you are testing out those hypotheses, those spirituality which you have believed in. Yeah, the honesty, the truthfulness, the clarity of vision. This is spirituality. I think the books of religion are only meant to show the path. How you will walk on that path is spirituality. Spirituality is not about a religion per se. Spirituality is about how you have built your life around the basic tenets, values, good values that you have got from your parents, the society, your brothers and sisters, your forefathers, and that is what you bring to the table. What what is very important to understand is that there are three core values that we do all our life, and we must realize that this is perhaps the only way to build up our hope. One is to develop a daily, weekly, monthly routine of doing hard work. I'm extremely dissatisfied if I don't work for 14 hours a day. I'm extremely dissatisfied that if I have left out a customer prospect without working on it extra to gain that prospect and convert that prospect into a customer. That has always been my way of thinking. Have you developed a mechanism of your life? Develop a methodology how you will measure yourself. What is enough for you? That yardstick you must define early in life and live on that yardstick. Don't hesitate. You will come across various failures, you will come across various problems of life, you will come across various issues. Don't move away from that yardstick. Don't dump those yardsticks. Those are your measurements, your spirituality, your ways of life. Your hope has been built on those methods, on those disciplines, and on those outlook of your life. Do not ditch them. They are not cheap. Live with them. Be proud of them. Flaunt them. And show people why you have been successful by following those daily, weekly, monthly processes, whatever be it. Your daily regime of morning walk, or your daily regime of evening walk, or your discourse, or your practice, or your habits, or your way you have conducted meetings, or the way you have taken part in seminars, or you have contributed to the society at large, or you have worked with NGOs, whatever be your own personal feeling. It has all been done with a hope of bringing in more value to people around us. That hope is the most important thing to drive a person. How and what hopes you have had is what you must underline and share with people. And that brings in a whole lot of clarity of thoughts, about what is honesty, what are values, how do you handle challenges, which side do you take, what is the limit of your punishment when you are angry, how do you behave when you are disillusioned. You see, in this pandemic times, we have seen people who have misbehaved with their spouses, who have beaten them. Family harmony has been lost because of financial difficulties. I know it's difficult for most of us. Two of my businesses have got closed, and I know what I went through. But sticking on to those values at this age helped me. I'm hopeful of a good life. That's why this podcast. And I'm sure all you guys who are listening to this are paying for it. You are my paying customers, and I must salute you. I must thank you for paying and listening to what I say. Yes, the whole purpose of making this podcast a paid podcast was to create real values. What I hope to do is to bring in a real understanding of relationships and lifestyle in these difficult times, or in any time. As long as I'm alive, I hope to be of service. This will be a 13-week program where I'll talk about all aspects of human life, all behaviors and patterns of how we behave. Please ask questions, send me an email, give me a call. My mobile number, my email address, everything is mentioned in the opening lines. Please write to me, talk to me, send me information. Everything is handled confidentially. All answers will be given anonymously. We will not share real names or real locations with anybody so that nobody can link up to you. I'm an open-minded person, so I give very open-minded answers, and I will give you open-minded answers, unbiased answers, answers which will help you to firm up your decision. And if you still feel I have not answered, send back the query and I'll relook at it. I'm here to help you guys. You're paying for my services, you're paying to listen to me, so I respect you, I salute you. Thank you so much for listening to me. This video will be edited by Aditya.